When it comes to series that are intimidating to get into, but loved by those who put the time in, Monster Hunter is one of the first that comes to mind. Its difficulty, along with its numerous complex mechanics, create a gameplay loop that I hold close to my heart. Kill thing, use its parts to make better gear to kill bigger thing. Gameplay at its finest. So of course, my love for this series meant that I no-lifed the new game, Monster Hunter Wilds, when it dropped. While doing that, it had me thinking, what would it take to 100% such a massive game, with so many achievements, endless fights, hundreds of quests, and countless materials to gather? That thought was all I needed to pick up my trusty Charge Blade and set off to see everything this game has to offer. I cannot understate my excitement when this game came out, so of course I tore into it like a ravenous beast that hadn't eaten in 4 years, 1 month, 7 days, 13 hours, 30 minutes, and 38 seconds. 39 seconds. 40 seconds. This is to say I no-lifed it during its first weekend. I toured through the main story and did every side quest in the game, getting all story and side quest related achievements. Around this time, I started to be thinking ahead about other achievements in the game, so I got most of the gathering achievements for things such as crafting enough high-rarity weapons and armor, along with gathering other specific rare materials. I built a meta build using Arcveld gear, which was enough to get the crafting rare armor achievement. For the weapons, I just crafted different max rarity charge blades until I got the weapon achievement. Lastly, the material quests were as simple as being in a certain place at a certain time. At the end of all of this, I now had a good chunk of the achievements and all the gear I needed to get to the real grind. The crowns. So for the uninitiated, Monster Hunter has a system where monsters spawn with varying size. Sometimes they're larger than usual, other times smaller. If the variation is great enough, you will get a crown in your field guide for successfully hunting it. You get a large crown if it's particularly big, and a small crown if it's super small. And here we see a small crown Kadakabra, who insists he is of average stature, trying to attract a mate. However, his short king energy appears to be yielding little success. Oh, and he has to die. Anyways, the games have a history of 2 very difficult achievements involving this system, these being getting the large and small crowns for every monster. This doesn't sound particularly terrible if it wasn't for how rare these crown spawns are. Wilds also added a huge quality of life feature with the binoculars telling you if a monster has a crown or not. But they are still rare enough that I only had a single one of the 52 crowns in the game before explicitly looking for them. And it was the Alpha Doshagama that was guaranteed to spawn with a big crown. Needless to say, I had my work cut out for me, so how are we gonna do this? There are 3 main ways to hunt crowns. First, cast the widest net, and it's what I use for the early stages. Just rest, then go to each area, run around, and use your binoculars on every monster you see. This costs guild points though, which makes it not sustainable, so I had to mix this method with the second. This second method uses a unique aspect of the Wounded Hollow, which is this game's arena. For some reason, this is the only area of the game which re-rolls the monster's size every time you reload the area. So what you are watching on screen was what the majority of these hunts looked like. This focused resetting lets you do a ton of rolls in rapid succession. In-game time does pass though, so if you are unlucky, the monster will eventually despawn. And if Monster Hunter hates you as much as it hates me, you'll reset a monster for 30 minutes just to have it spawn as a crown as it's despawning. So you'll have to watch it fly away, and the map won't even let you initiate a quest. Like what happened to me with both Large Gormagala, Small Raytheon, and Small Doshagama. Some of these I would not see again for multiple hours. Despite this, the method worked well in getting me a steady 2 to 4 crowns per play session. It worked well, but definitely was a slow grind as I, played the game. But would you believe me if I told you it gets worse? Some monsters don't spawn inside the Wounded Hollow, these being the Guardians and the 3 Apexes. So for these, we have to employ the final and most painful strat, which I call the hard resets. I call them this because hard resets is a term used by Pokemon shiny hunters for when they have to exit their saves in order to reset some of the rarest Pokemon, which is what we have to do here. Rest to set up a map that has guardians or apexes we need, run around and check them, then exit to title screen without saving. Re-enter the save, rinse repeat. I have seen this title screen more than any one man should, and clearly more times than the game can handle, since I had multiple render errors during long sessions, yielding hilarious results such as these. I waited to hunt these crowns until they were pretty much the last ones I had left, so I had to do resets in the Scarlet Forest for Uthduna, Windward Plains for Raydao, Oilwell Basin for New Udra, and the Ruins of Wyveria for Guardian Fulgur Anjanath, Ebony Odogaron, Doshagama, and Rathalos. The journey was arduous, monotonous, and completed primarily between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m., but eventually I ended up with all 52 crowns in the game, and I still wasn't done. With all crowns and all quests done, next was the remaining achievements for reaching certain grinding thresholds. During this process, I somehow wasn't HR 100 yet, and the only achievements related to numbers of hunts completed that I was able to get naturally was hunting every monster at least once, and hunting 50 tempered monsters. What remained was to do a few more of the 50 captures, and a ton of the 50 apexes. For the captures, I just captured a few random monsters while helping my friends get gear, which also made me hit HR 100. With just the apexes left, the conclusion I came to was that every 2-star Uthduna on the continent had to die. And with that, I was almost done. I only have some gathering achievements left. Wait, these only have such a low percent achieved because they're boring, right? Okay, so only 3 achievements left. One for finding 10 different Rarity 6 items, and 2 more related to catching big fish referred to as whoppers. And both of these achievements are some of the lamest things I've ever done in a game. Okay, so let's start with the Rarity 6 items. That sounds simple on paper. There are hundreds of crafting materials in the game, so surely you'd end up with this naturally, right? Oh, you poor ignorant soul. No, I had gotten a grand total of 2 of these naturally. One from a side quest reward, and another from just randomly picking things up. Rarity 6 actually refers to a pool of about 11 items, all but 2 of which spawn in events called emergences. If you played this game like a somewhat normal human being, you've probably been ignoring the occasional pop-up for some material emergence, not realizing that these are painful to find on purpose. Even now, a month after the game is dropped, there's inconclusive evidence online about what times and seasons are optimal for these to spawn, so I had to use YouTube comment sections on guides to refine my search. Basically, emergences are an event that spawns just like how a monster shows up, and after you rest, you can look on your world map to see all the timed events and spawns that will happen within the next hour. Since these emergences are extremely rare, and I need to find basically all of them, this means that if I rested and an emergence I needed was 50 minutes away, I basically left my game open and set a real-life timer so I could go do something else. This already was annoying, but as I got to my last few, requiring more specific seasons and less chance of a useful emergence appearing, I burned through the rest of my guild points, cause of course reloading your map costs something. I had literally forgotten it cost anything since I built up so much over the course of doing everything else in the game, but since I ran out of guild points, I had to stop my search and look for a method to grind guild points, which was basically just going to Area 8 of Scarlet Forest and catching golden platinum fish over and over again. So after that hour detour, I finally got lucky enough to get my last item I needed. Wow, that was complete and utter cancer. At least I get to chill with some fishing now. Right, boys? Now, the fish were a whole nother bitch. Basically, you had to catch 30 whoppers. A whopper is basically any fish that triggers this annoying minigame, where you guide your line to follow the fish and wrestle with it until it gets tired and you get the chance to reel it in. The only other achievement tied to this was that one of those whoppers had to be the colossal squid, so I started with catching him, which happened with relative ease since he is a guaranteed spawn during nighttime in the Season of Plenty. The rest of the 29 were the bigger issue. See, the common method to grind this involves just resetting the same area tons of times to only fish in this specific river where you can initiate the catch so close to the fish that you basically skip the minigame. Only problem is, the emergences ate up all my guild points, so I can't afford to keep resetting. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way, actually fishing on the shore and playing this delicate minigame again and again. So here's your pro guide from Angliakai. First, the perspective is completely screwed when you're trying to position your lure far away, so make sure to overshoot the fish. Next, make sure to use the tough lure bait unless it's this specific fish with the ridges on its back, then use the dust lure instead. Then, make sure you land the lure 5 inches from their stupid blind fish faces, and make sure that you do a little dance for them by shaking your lure and pray to God that they bite. Just to start the minigame. For the minigame itself, hold a direction the fish is going as it foxtrots like a meth head playing Smash Bros. Melee, unless it's about to hit an obstacle, where you actually have to pull in the opposite direction. Then, if it jumps, move your line in one of the 4 directions with it, and click with good timing to give the fish a massive hit to its stamina, before he finally gives you a window to reel him closer. Rinse repeat 1 to 4 times depending on distance, all while hoping no random bullshit happens to make the fish nope out of there. I'd love to say that I've become an expert at Monster Hunter fishing, but even I still lost the minigame 3 times in a row when trying to catch my 30th whopper, so even as you get better, the fish will still troll you. But I still caught them all, and claimed my achievement.